Hello, everyone, and welcome to this installment of Clear Process Solutions WebTips. My name is Tim Dempsey. I'll be your host for this evening, and our topic is going to be importing Excel data into a subform within AgilePoint. Before we get started, let's just do a brief agenda. First, we're going to just discuss importing and exporting the data in a little bit more detail. Talk through what we're going to be seeing today. Secondly, I'm just going to walk us through what the components are that we'll need to accomplish our goal, and then we'll dive right into our demo. Okay, so for any one of our business processes, not only saving data is important, but also working with the data throughout the business process. Within AgilePoint in our process model, we have an Excel read element that allows us to retrieve data and to add it to our subform repeating table. There are numerous business cases that we can use this from the back office, from any departments to operations, manufacturing, logistics, from the front office, from contacts, marketing, sales opportunities. Really, anytime we're going to be working with data that could be changing or on the go, or that might be updating along the way when it gets to different business users. So in order to accomplish our goal, we'll have our AgilePoint process application, and we'll take a look a little bit more into how our demo is set up so we can be ready for success. And secondly, we'll need an Excel template in order to read and to write back and forth, as well as our data repository, which is going to store our template for our schema, which is our data structure, as well as our request files. Now, so we're set up for success. I just want to talk at a high level about what the demo will be composed of. So I put together just a basic simple process of a submit form, which will have our attachment control, or as well as our process model, which will have our element, which will Excel read, and we'll walk through the different steps for each one of those. And then our review step, which will have our repeating subform and the data within that we retrieve from our Excel file and our attachment control. Okay, so let's take a look at our process model. Here, I'll walk us through and open up each one of these steps. So this is going to be our start form, where I'll be, as to say, I'm a business user, and I'm just uploading some form of data from Excel. So here is our attachment control, and I'm storing this in a data repository within SharePoint. Now, the file that I'm going to be attaching is this file here. Now, what's important to note here is that this is within a table, so it's important to have your Excel file that has a built-in table or a table created. And here are our 4 fields that we'll be importing: first name, last name, phone number, and email address. Okay, let's go back out to our process model. Next, we'll get to the main part of this demo, which is the read Excel table activity. So we'll walk through each one of these steps. The first, it asks you what our source repository is. This is asking us, hey, where is the template going to be stored to retrieve the schema from? So we need in order to retrieve the data and write the data, Dynamically, we need to ensure that the data structure is set before we do that. So here we have our design time templates, and I'm pointing it to our template. This is our structure that we showed beforehand with the template of first column of first name, last name, phone number, and email address. And this is just that file stored within a SharePoint document library. Next, it's going to ask us, what is our runtime repository? So what data are we going to retrieve at the time that we run this activity? So I'm storing the files as well as the templates within the same library for ease of use here. What's important to note here is that we set the dynamic file path to our attachment control file name. So this gives us the unique attachment that was added to our request for during this time, during this step. And then we get to our mapping. So as I mentioned earlier, in the Excel file, it requires to have a table for the schema. And here we just go through and map our fields from our Excel file to our fields within our SubForm. We'll take a look at this SubForm here in a moment, but key thing to note here is to always map the table to our SubForm. If this is not mapped, and you're wondering why it's not working, always check to see if this is mapped. I'll go finish, and let's take a look at our SubForm. And as we saw just a few moments ago in our Excel file, as well as in the mappings, we have first name, last name, phone number, and email address. So we have our process built. We're going to attach an item to a request. We're going to then retrieve that data from that repository in SharePoint and then set these fields within our repeating SubForm. So I'm going to go ahead and kick off the request. Then attach our Excel file with submit. We'll go back into our inbox. I've got a tab. Go ahead and open up the task here. And you can see the data that was in our Excel file is now within our SubForm. So that is our demo for today. I hope that you'll be able to now set up your own read Excel file from in AgilePoint. So you'll be able to retrieve data that was from an attachment control and add it into your SubForm and route that through within your business process. We have several of these web tips that have tidbits of information, tips on how to build things, examples and demos, all within our YouTube site, our YouTube channel. You can find that by going to clearprocesssolutions.com/webtips. If you want to reach out more, just for any additional questions, feel free to reach out to the two URLs here, clearprocesssolutions.com, or email info@clearprocesssolutions.com. They will be happy to assist. Thanks again, and talk to you soon.